Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow, Season 7, Episode 21, Living Proof. This episode is amazing. It's pretty good. There are some stuff that I'm starting to get kind of a little pissed off at, but I'll get to those as we get to there. We start off this episode with Tommy Merlin being back and stuff, and it's revealed really early on that he's actually part of Oliver's PTSD and stuff, and I think that's really interesting. And he spends like a lot of parts where it's revealed that Oliver's been like underneath this boulder this whole time, still trapped and stuff. And I think that was really interesting, playing with all that. Then we get a look at Zeta, which is like the robots in the future, right, that are taking over, that are hunting the vigilantes. And I thought, wow, they look a lot like the Code 8 characters and stuff, which is the movie that Oliver Queen, that Stephen Amell and his brother and his cousin Robbie Amell are making and stuff. That's actually should be premiering pretty kind of soon and stuff. And I think that was kind of interesting that it looked somewhat similar type thing. So we'll have to wait and see if there's any, if anything goes like that. But I just find it funny that there's some similarities there. And we see Roy ends up sacrificing himself or risking his life to save everyone else, and he breathes in the poison and stuff. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. Is that going to come back in the next episode with him kind of dying with the effects from that, after breathing that in a little bit? Is he going to die later on from it? Because he got a little bit of it, but not a lot. So I think it could be interesting to see as to if that leaves kind of a scarring effect that's going to kill him later on slowly, by the end of the next episode. That could be interesting. We see Oliver ends up shooting Emiko, but then it's revealed that obviously that was fake and stuff. That he's actually still with Tommy underneath knocked out underneath the rock and stuff. And I think that was really interesting. And then we get Elena, which tells Felicity that she should take the baby and go hide and go off grid and stuff, and go hide to give her a normal life. And I think that's interesting. I mean, we do obviously get teased that before with we got that before when we first saw the whole episode 2049, something like that, or 2040, where we saw her raising her child and stuff. And I think that was kind of interesting with that. But the thing is, this I don't know if I really like the way this is going. We'll have to wait and see how it ends in the next episode, because this is technically the next episode is going to be the last episode with Felicity Smoke. Emily Ricard's already posted on Instagram that that was going to be her last. This is going to be our last episode coming up, and she's not returning for season 8, which is still getting me frustrated for the character, because if they had set this up and teased things up and had a big storyline for her, which, yeah, her having a child is okay, but it doesn't feel like the writers made the decision we're not going to bring Felicity back for season 8. We're going to go with this. Or the writers go at the beginning of season 7, knowing, when they first start writing season 7, knowing that this is going to be Felicity's last season. I don't feel like they knew that going into this season, and that's what they should have known. I feel like Emily Ricard's just kind of sprung this on them, and they're like, okay. They had a few episodes to know. Maybe they had the last 2 or 3 episodes. They hadn't started writing those last 2-3 episodes, and then they started to put pieces in there, or even at like this episode, last second, that's only a little bit in here. So maybe they're halfway done this episode writing it, and they're like, they had just enough time to change a little bit of this ending so that it teases a little bit of the end of Felicity and her not being in season 8, which is not enough for a character who's been around since the first season for 6 seasons. We've been following her for so long and stuff, that why are we only getting it like this, and we're only going to get like this little tease here, then another, her ending it at the end of we're gonna have to wait and see as to how things go in the next episode. But to me, it just gets me kind of pissed off to see as to where things are gonna go with this. And if Felicity does go off, because we know she appears back in the future or whatever, if Felicity does go off and and live her life and hide out with Maya, with her daughter and stuff, and kind of live her life out in there and kind of secluded from everyone, it's interesting. But then she's not going to be there for the next season at the end of season 8 when Oliver inevitably dies, which is most likely going to be during the Crisis on Infinite Earth. When he inevitably sacrifices himself, you're not going to have Felicity there to mourn him or anything like that, and that's just going to piss me off. So we'll have to wait and see as to how things go with that. If she says this is her last episode and then she shows up in the crossover, okay, that could be interesting, but I'd like to see her throughout the whole crossover if you're going to have her show up surprise appearance in the next season. Now, if she shows up for the entirety of the crossover, all episodes, that would be awesome, And whatever obviously the Crisis at Infinite Earth is going to be big enough to bring everyone back together, and it should bring her back together. If she's off just doing stuff and raising her child and stuff, okay, you want to keep her out of danger and stuff, but she still needs to be there for that moment when Oliver inevitably ends his story, whether he dies, whatever. You can't, and I think at this point with Oliver Queen, they've already tried to do an ending of a season where he ends it and he lives his life and he drives off into the sunset. So you cannot do that anymore and have Oliver Queen, just go off and say, yeah, I'm not going to do this, because it's part of him to be a vigilante. It's in his blood. It's the thing about him type thing. He can't get away from it, And whenever he tried to do that a few seasons ago, Thea had to go back and try and get him to come back. Thea and Laurel had to go and try and get him to come back to help save the city again. So, having him drive off is not really going to work this time. You're going to probably have to have him save his life. And I'm not going to say this, but you're going to have to pretty much do the thing that everyone else has been seeing recently, the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that everyone's talking about that's made $2 billion. So you have to really kind of do something like that, in order to kind of to end his storyline, because that's the way you have to do it. I think that's going to be interesting to see, and not having Felicity there for that moment is just going to ruin that moment. It's not going to make that moment the way it should be. So we'll have to wait and see as to how things go. I just really would like to see Emily Bett Ricard show up for the next season, and having her to spend a season building up her end rather than just, it's her end right now. We have to end right now. Looks like the writers were kind of in a panic when they found out that this was Felicity's last season type thing. They didn't know going in, and that's what's pissing me off for this show. And then we end this episode with Emiko having the weapon and stuff, and the storyline for this season is okay. It's kind of fun and stuff, but it's the end of Felicity is what has me kind of more distracted. It's taking up clearly more of my focus. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see as to where things go. The Emiko stuff could be fun and all that, but I'm just really, I think, because it's the end of Felicity's storyline, and she's not the main, and the storyline right now is not focusing on being her last episode. It's taken away from what the storyline is of the last episode, and I think that's kind of the problem here. They should have, because if they had known this was going to be Felicity's last episode, they would have made the next episode and these last few episodes more Felicity focused and pointing towards an end, rather than just having another storyline that's going to get overshadowed by people knowing that it's the last episode for last few episodes for Felicity. So we'll have to wait and see as to how things go in the next episode. But right now I'm just getting kind of frustrated and kind of just disappointed at Emily Bett Ricard, because to me it all points to there, but we're not on set and not there. I don't know really what happens behind the camera. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.